Tonight on Voice of Reason, you'll hear from a man who was responsible for the trial of Saddam. We'll take a look at the nuclear threats from North Korea and all the crises facing this country. Tonight here on Voice of Reason on the Comcast Network. Got a lot to talk about tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Larry Kane. First to discuss the issues surrounding North Korea is Mike Kim, author of the book Escaping North Korea, Defiance and Hope in the World's Most Repressive Country. What a story. Mike helped North Korean refugees escape that repressive regime and put his life at risk. And Dr. Michael Horowitz is a political science professor at the University of Pennsylvania, specializing in international conflict and security issues, has studied North Korean negotiating patterns. He's a consultant for the Department of Defense on a range of international security issues. First of all, Mike, congratulations on your book. I understand it's doing well. How do you get involved? Besides the fact that you are Asian by birth and from Korea, what was the motivation, first of all, and how did you get involved in getting people out of that country?
The first time I took a 2-week trip to China just to explore the situation, I met North Korean refugees for the first time, and my first question was, what's a North Korean refugee? I mean, I'm a Korean American, born and raised in the States, but I had no idea that this situation was going on. So as I started hearing individual stories, I was just deeply moved by the sex trafficking issue, the famine, the political persecution over there, and wanted to help out.
So you went over?
That's right. I went for a 2-week vacation. While I was still working in the States, I just took a 2-week vacation to get some Chinese food, hang out, meet some North Koreans, and was just deeply moved by the story of all these refugees. So when I returned to the States, I decided to buy a one-way ticket to China.
And you got taken into custody?
That's right. So then when I went to China, I started exploring borders, trying to go back and forth from China and Laos on my own, exploring the security at different consulates that we tried to get the refugees into. And as a result of that, I was detained a couple of times.
Now, you had to have a great sense of satisfaction, Mike, about getting people out, even 10 people or 20 or 5. Is there anything left on your agenda in terms of getting more people out, or are you concerned about going over there?
Well, one of the things we decided, our organization, was to focus on helping people live safely in China, and we let other organizations do the rescue work of helping them get to South Korea, because we wanted to have a long-term perspective in China. Because one of the things we noticed is people who did this work get captured within a year and are deported or put under arrest. So that was our strategy, but it was one of the most rewarding things I've ever done.
What do they say about life in North Korea?
It's horrible. I mean, they say it's one of the worst famines in modern day history. There's no freedoms. You can't speak freely, you can't think freely. In addition to that, you just can't enjoy life.
Do they understand that why a young man like you has risked life and limb to go over there? I mean, that must be a great sense of gratification.
They're initially very scared of me because they know I'm an American, and there's all this propaganda around Americans. I mean, they have told me when I first meet them, they won't make eye contact. They sit as far away from me as possible, and they tell me we were taught that Americans eat us. I mean, that's really what they're taught in the schools. So there's a lot of fear, but eventually I earn their trust, and they understand that I'm really there to help them.
Finally, the name of the book? Escaping
North Korea.
Is it doing well? I hear it's doing well.
It's been getting some good coverage. I've been very pleased.
Well, it's a great story. It's a true story. This is sort of a fictional fact book because it's true, but it reads like fiction, doesn't it?
That's right. That's what I hear.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Larry.
Mike Kim, the Professor Horowitz will stay with us as we take a break. We'll come back. We'll be rejoined by Dr. Horowitz and other foreign policy experts to talk about Russia, Iran, and inside the Saddam trial from a man who was there and planned it right after this.